Good day. I'd like to introduce my first podcast guest. His name is Steven. Steve is a mix of things. We're kind of unsure the full extent of it, but I bought him as a mini golden doodle. His brother has a full perm. Steven loves to be different. You got anything to say, Steve? Steve's a great guy. Sweetest animal ever. I was not prepared for... I've never had an animal myself. I was not prepared for how they follow you. Literally everywhere. To the bathroom. I'm like, full bathroom. And he's like, hey, you in here? Can't help it. Anyways, it's great. But sometimes I'm like, you gotta go somewhere else. You gotta go away a little bit. You know? So, we're gonna let Steve get his itches out. All right. You good? Nope. Jesus Christ. Sit down. Oh, boy. Welcome back. Steve. He's excited now that he got interviewed. He's chasing his tail and doing fun things, right? So, I noticed something very interesting today. And it started with an Instagram reel. And it was Jim Carrey, and it looked as though he was at a food kitchen, homeless shelter. And he was talking to everybody, and it was a clip just saying, everything is divine. And when we can come here and make a loaf of bread and share it, that is God. That is God's heart. He was saying the most beautiful words. And up at the top, someone had in text said they called him crazy because he stopped playing the game. I just thought, how interesting that someone in show business who came from the Matrix side of things and then publicly decides to show his spiritual awakening, which I think is so incredibly brave. And people called him crazy. Now you get like Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra, Tupac, I don't know. But anyways, you get these spiritual leaders that came out the chute that way, are respected and honored in that sense. But Jim Carrey gets called crazy because he came from the world of comedy or society and decided to show, here is my awakening and here is what I know now. Which to me was directly related to how people are programmed to react to, if you are part of society's system and decide that you want to go on a different path of spiritual awakening that looks different, sounds different, feels different, you're crazy. And you know, who's to say, I'm not saying Jim Carrey wasn't spiritual in the beginning. It sounds like he was. Like, he manifested his whole career and talks about it, and I love it so much. But I guess I didn't realize people were calling him crazy. And I saw that and was like, that's the exact reason why most people are afraid to go against the program. The program being work, stay busy, have a 9-to-5, do the things that everyone else is doing. Steve, stop. Your licking can't be heard. Sorry. That's just another thing about dogs, the licking and the sound, the mouth sounds. I love you. You're going to need to go sit over there. He's like, bless, go lay down. Anyways, can you relate to that? I can relate to that because now I'm in my awakening and people already think what they think and you just don't really give a shit. But when you're on the other side of it, long ago, I've always had this hunger for spiritual knowledge or always been spiritual in some way, but someone who was like, who knows what that point is, but in your mind, you're like, once you pass that certain point, oh, you're that group. That is the programming. Are we going to dare to go against the programming? If our world is meant to be love and God is love, and meanwhile there is so much war and division and incongruence going on in our world, and we all dream of a better world and a better place, do each of us as individuals have the guts to go against the program? Because the way that Jim Carrey, he is the model of someone with a unique mission, with the courage to be public in one way and completely shift and be public in another. How incredible is that? And people of society in the program call him crazy. Isn't that a brilliant thing to teach people to do? That if someone goes against the program and shows that it's possible to go from one end to another, they're crazy. But those other guys, that's all we know them as, and that's fine. That's fine. But to show proof that it is possible that you can grow up thinking, doing, feeling, and being a part of the routine and the mind program where it's just like work, do the things, stay busy. But I think at a certain point, all of us, they call it a midlife crisis. It's literally like the middle of your life when you're like, something is missing. Your soul's just in there like, hello. Because we've all got so much going on in our minds. Do we have the guts and the embodiment, the will and the courage to change the world that we're living in? I've gone through this myself in my life, like currently has been happening, especially the last year. Completely shifting my circle of people, even with my family and my children. It's like the people know you in one way, and that is how people around you can predict you, right? We all talk about change, but the truth is, most people have a very difficult time watching you change. And that's why a lot of people don't do it. It's the discomfort factor. It's feeling like, well, I feel this in my bones, in my body, like I gotta go a different direction. But every time you're with those people that know you a certain way, unconsciously, they treat you as they've always treated you. Ask the same questions, have the same conversations, or bring in the same energy, making it extremely challenging for you to change. That's why we're all, to some degree, wanting change or a shift or an upgrade in our life. But we neglect to see that when the program has you in your mind, it's easier to stay the same and be predictable and have a routine than it is to completely shake shit up and become something new, which demands that you reestablish the circle of people you're around. You have to decide who you are without any other influence. And how brave is Jim Carrey? Holy shit. What he's talking about, everything is divine. It's God. You're giving, you're loving. He's talking about the truest messages that most of us already believe, but he has been labeled crazy because he is proof that you can be a certain way and then you can actually change and be that way too. You can actually develop your spirit and your soul and let it be what drives you. Man, you gotta be brave in today's world to be yourself. Holy shit. It's easy to be around a lot of people, have a lot of friends, be accepted, know exactly what to say, be loved, be cute, be this and that. That's easy. It's not so easy to really dig into what you want out of life and what your soul is calling you to do and actually do it. Like, how hard is it to leave relationships? Romantic, like marriages. I had to separate from my husband. Our relationship was so toxic and so abusive. And it's like, there was love there, or what I thought was love. But when you want something different, you're like, holy shit, I gotta do something different. And so we separated so we could go to therapy and try to figure it out. But it's like, you cannot heal in the same environment that hurt you. And so I've had different experiences where I've healed in the environment that hurt me. But with this particular example, you got to be brave to become someone new. You got to be willing to let people think what they want to think. In reality, anyone calling someone crazy or woo-woo, or they don't know what they're talking about, for getting in tune with their soul and being brave enough to show it, that's truly their ego judging. That's their perspective of, I will be judged, so I should judge them because God. And meanwhile, your soul's like, hello, that's what we came here for. But you're like, I'm not doing that because I'm not being called those names because I have these wounds that I have not healed yet, and that would be too much for me. So I may as well, I'm judging myself already for doing that, so I'm going to judge that person. And that's easier. And it is easier, right? But that's the mind process that goes on. So that's the question that I leave you with and that is on my heart today. Do we have the courage to go against the program? When our soul is calling us to do something, are we going to stand up and do it? Or is it easier for us to just sit back and do the same? Same results. Same person creates the same results. You want something different? You want something better? You want more money, more love, more abundance, more opportunities? The same person can't create new opportunities. A new person, a new you. A shedding of the old and a rebirth of the new is what creates new experiences. It's up to you.